So your taper is not a time to do a bunch of sprints or a bunch of fartlek workouts. Hey everybody, Coach Dan here from the Run Experience. It's a killer day on the East Coast Trail, and it is my last long run of a training block. That means I've got a race coming up soon. It's about 2 weeks from now. It's a 55K trail ultra. I cannot wait. But today I want to tell you about what I'm going to do between today, my last long run, and race day. It's something called a taper. What is tapering and why should you care? Stick around, I'll tell you everything you need to know. For the last few months I have put in the work. Tons of miles, tons of stability, mobility, and strength work. I am pretty tired, if I were being honest. That training load has been heavy. My legs feel a little stiff and sore today. I'm feeling all that work, and now I'm at the end. Today's the last big long run. I'm excited to crush a bunch of kilometers on this trail. It's gonna be about 30K today, to be honest, and then I get to start something called a taper. Well, a taper is what you do between your last long run and your race day. There's a few things to keep in mind about what a taper is and how you should calculate what you do for your taper. The first one is the length of your race. So if you're gonna run a 5K as hard as you can, well, your taper is gonna be relatively short, maybe just 4 or 5 days. If you're running an ultra like I am, it means you wanna give yourself 2 or maybe 3 weeks of tapering. Now, there is some science about this, but there's also some art. You've got to listen to your body. What makes your body feel good? What makes your body feel ready? We'll get to the mileage calculation in a minute, but first I want to tell you a few of the things you can't do during your taper. You can't do any super hard workouts. You can't do anything over race pace. So your taper is not a time to do a bunch of sprints or a bunch of fartlek workouts. It isn't a good time to lift heavy either. Those are things you shouldn't do while you're tapering. What should you do? Well, you should do a bunch of easy miles. You should do the work that's going to help you feel great on race day. That doesn't mean not moving your body. Taper's not a time to stop running. It's a time to do slightly different types of running and to do less of it. More on that in a minute. But here's what I want you to do with the extra time you're going to have as you taper off mileage. It is the moment to focus on any type of injury. If you've got anything that hurts at all, this is your chance to fix it. That ankle that you've been taping for the last month, well, this is the time to make sure you're doing the mobility and stability exercises that's going to help it feel better. If you've got an athletic therapist or a massage therapist that you trust, this is the time to make sure you see them. If you haven't done so way before now, this is the time to make sure that they've got a chance to get their hands on you. It's a great time to indulge in one of those terrible massages that make you feel like you're a penny on the railroad tracks because they strip out all your muscles. That's the work you do. Nothing over race pace, nothing too hard, no heavy lifting, but lots of core work. Tapering's a great time to cram in a little extra core stability work, especially in the first week of your 2-week taper. Do a little extra of that with the extra time you've got. Hey, if you like this video and you want to see more of this type of content and these amazing views, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. So here's your general taper calculation. Here's what you do. You take your top weekly mileage from the training block, and in the first week of your 2-week taper, you decrease that mileage by 25%. So I ran 100 kilometers last week, this week, which means next week, the first week of my taper, I'm gonna run 75 kilometers. That's gonna be almost entirely easy work. There'll be a little bit of tempo work in there. And for me, there's gonna be some elevation work in there, but I'm gonna do that elevation pretty easy. I'm not gonna go running up any hills and bombing down them. I'm gonna take it nice and easy, but keep the legs working. The second week of my taper, a week from now, I'm gonna take off another 25% of that original 100 kilometers. So I'm gonna run 50K the week before the race. That's all gonna be front loaded. So the couple of days before a race, I'm not gonna run at all for sort of 3 days out and 2 days out. And then the day before a race, I'm gonna do a little shakeout run. 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour, real slow. I'm gonna wear the race kit that I'm gonna wear on race day, the same shoes, the same socks, make sure everything feels okay, make sure I've got all that stuff dialed in. Now, if you wanna make sure you're feeling great on race day, check out this video over my shoulder. It's gonna give you a really good idea of the type of strength and mobility work you can do in the days and weeks leading up to your giant race.